Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And thank you so much for being in the house. And once again, it's late night, it's evening, and it's past our normal start time. But thank you again for being here because today, Dow Jones drops, markets drop, turmoil around the world. And as Dow falls and turmoil around the world happens, oil prices skyrocketing. Now, perfect scenario for investors, ladies and gentlemen. You should have a big smile on your face to take advantage. You should be doing your hands, rubbing them together, being like, oh my. What can we do now? Opportunity is knocking. Are you going to partake in it? Let me know because it's time to let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. And again, welcome. Stop struggling now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you so much for being here. And please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information. And also, when you come into the chat, I believe tonight, only members, not members, subscribers can actually be in the chat room. Everybody can watch, but you can leave messages in the chat room. So, and that is on one platform, that is YouTube. If you're on YouTube watching, only members, not members, subscribers can actually leave chats, messages. Go over there. Now, everywhere else, you can leave messages as well. First things first in the chat room, speaking of that, make sure if you need help here in America due to rising cost, due to inflation, due to loss of job, go to findhelp.org and put in the zip code of where you are, and you'll see there are lots of ways to help you. That's the first thing. This is Stop Struggling Now, and I want to welcome everybody here on the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream because we have a lot to be upset about, be happy about, and cheer because all of those emotions that's going on. You could have lost your job. You could have maybe made a bad investment previously. The bottom line is today is a new day. The markets are in turmoil. You have opportunity, especially if you are preparing or are prepared for it. If you are doing stock trading, you should have been prepared for this. If you are doing stock investments or trading or any involvement with financial institutions, such as putting your money in a 401k, doing any ETF investing, no matter what you're doing, you should be paying attention, ladies and gentlemen. There is no way around it. This is a capitalist system, and those that feed off of the mistakes of others win, aka competition. Just like when you start a business or anything along the lines that you rely on the consumer, just because you're successful for the first month, first 6 months, first 2 years, you have competition. And competition is trying to figure out how to beat your ass every day by taking your customers. So if you don't stay the course and you get weak and distracted, your competition comes in. This is just like what's happening right now when somebody says, I want to follow the leader, the United States following Israel into a war that is unnecessary, that it triggers leaving your citizens stranded in several countries. That's not a good look. Then your oil prices are going to go higher after you decide you don't want to do renewable energy sources. So we're more reliant on oil than we would have been if you would have been doing the course of making sure that we have renewable energy sources. So now the oil prices are maybe approaching $90 a barrel by now. That means everything's going to cost more. There's no way around it. But that also means you should be rubbing your hand. Are you making those investments, ladies and gentlemen? The repercussions are severe. And now money is to be made. Are you going to be taking care of that portion? Or do you even have enough to even try to make it work? Well, we know the answer to that. I'm about to put something down here in the chat room like I always do every live stream now. And that is, oh man, I don't believe this. Are you serious right now? I have to terminate one of the streams because it's not kicking in. I don't know why. But then I was starting to go off last week. So there may be a reason why we start getting blocked from all type of different areas. So, but anyhow, I'm going to put something in the chat room right now that's going to help people in debt. You need to email tracy.sharpe with an E at the end at moneyladder.com. It's going to be in the chat room. So you guys should see it on several different platforms and down below in the description box. So, on at several platforms, you'll see it in the description box, but make sure you go and get this help to reduce your debt, get out of debt without having to file the derogatories, getting debt collections reported to your credit bureau without having bankruptcies. You can get debt resolution, debt consolidation. This is what she does. So down below or in the chat room, you're going to have the email for tracy.sharpe with an E at the end. First name Tracy is TRACY .sharpe, SHARPE at moneyladder.com. Email her. There's also a video that we made 2 years ago that she worked for another company and explains how it's done there. So that'll give you an idea of what you can do. All I know is freeing up money that you can use then to make investments is the number one way that you can come out of something. There's no way that you can sit here and let's talk about it as investors. The Dow falls, oil rising. There's nothing you can do as if you are always 80% of the population maxed out. That means you can't put money into any stock investment. That means you can't put any money into any type of investment that you're trying to start a business, let's say. You're always going to be behind. So you're either going to need the findhelp.org to get some freebies that the government offers, or you're going to have to reduce your debt in order to free up some money so you can make an investment that makes sense for the perfect scenario in 2026, March 6, 2026. All right. So let's get the first things first. Those are the things that you need to handle. Number one, the SSN Nation playbook. You need a 775 credit score by the end of this year. Why? Because one of the few things that's going to allow people to survive is if your score is high enough where you can accumulate some credit cards, loans, whatever the case may be. Act like a billionaire when they borrow. Now the risk is not on you, so to speak. The risk is you got to pay it back. But if there's a default situation, somebody else is carrying the risk. So you want to be in that same position, but we have something else. I want you guys to understand. We need that 2 years, 24 months at 0% payment on a credit card. We need a 1.5% loan, interest only. That's the only way you're going to come back. You're not coming back when you have 24%, 22%, 15%, 30% annually interest rate charges, principal plus interest. You're not coming back. So that's why we have to get that structured first if you are one of these people that have your credit upside down. You need to make sure you reduce your debt so your credit score can get to 775. And just so you know, I'll give you a simple example. If you owe $5,000 in order to on your credit cards and all your debt, and you're making revolving payments every month, right? $5,000 total. 10% means you can only have $500 across all of your $5,000 debt. So if that's 3 cards, 2 cards, a loan, it has to be 10% of your credit that's outstanding, or debt that's outstanding, not credit, but debt that's outstanding via credit. But the point is, you need to get under that. So you need to get around 400. You need to get around 350, ideally, just so you understand how this is going. Or you hit up Tracy via email and let her know what's going on so then she can restructure the debt for you, like the big boys. A lot of people don't realize this is why the big boys get loans. The billionaires and millionaires get loans because their loan amount, they get to call the bank if they don't make a payment or two and say, hey, can you restructure this for me? The bank says yes, because they don't want any asset in reality. All they care about is they lend you money and you pay off the interest. That's what they care about. So that's why they'll restructure their debt, but they're not coming to see you, mom and pop, that only owes 5 grand across all your credit, and then be like, yeah, we'll give you interest only. They're not going to do that. They're going to make you pay the 25, 35% interest rates or 15%. That's how funny this is. This is how effed up it is. Because you can imagine right now, if somebody told you that you could have a 3.5% interest only loan for 10 years, you would be ecstatic. You'd be like, is this a joke right now? Interest only for 10 years, then I owe the principal, knowing 10 years from now, do you know how much devaluing of currency will happen? The money you owe 10 years from now is going to be worth probably 50% if you actually start looking at things. I mean, that's how this works. That's why the United States does not care about paying off their debt, because they know as each year goes by, the older debt, it costs them less because you have to make more. So it's less. But the reality is, since it's never being paid back, except under certain presidents who will try to pay down the debt, others just balloon it. So either way, it does not get paid. But that's the whole point. You don't need to be like a country. You need to be like an individual. You need to act like a billionaire when you start thinking about, I want a loan, I want interest only, I want 0% interest at all. And give me 24 months, give me 36 months. The 36 months is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about it. But that just gives you an idea on what's happening. Anybody have any suggestions, anything? And by the way, Financial Friday Night Live Stream means, you know what that means? Story nights tonight. Also, you never know when I'm going to have a story. All right, let's see who's in the house tonight. It looks like the world above is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he says his tagline, I killed it today. I like it. I love it. In fact, I really love it, because that's what I'm talking about. Market belongs to me. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's how we got to do it, man. Give me a fist pump on that one, because that's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you are sitting there on the sidelines watching the parade go by because you're sitting there thinking, I can't do anything. You could do something. You need to learn how to extract money out of the stock market. Some people call it stock market trading. Some people call it stock market trading options. Some people call it, there's several different ways you can make money on the stock market, but the stock market is 6 days a week, and actually 7 if you count Bitcoin or crypto. But the point is, you have opportunities out here, ladies and gentlemen. And with that said, and get me all excited, I got to get the Candlestick Bible out of the way, because I'm heavily leaning into trading, because that is the last bastion that is low risk. And I shouldn't say low risk. It's high risk because a lot of people fail at it, right? So let's call it what it is. But at least you have a little bit of help here in the SSN Nation. The Candlestick Trading Bible, ladies and gentlemen. Just start there. Then, before I forget, I have a sequence. Go to CoinX. That's a broker. You can go to any broker. They'll give you a demo account. All right. I use CoinX. There's a reason. It's rudimentary. It's basic. MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5. Those are rudimentary forms of trading. Well, MetaTrader 4 is. MetaTrader 5 is much better. But the point I'm trying to make is you'll have a demo account there. You upload crypto to it, and you can download your winnings to any crypto wallet of yours. And it doesn't mean it has to be in the United States. CoinX is not in the United States. See, I'm a fan of not having my country holding my assets or my money because America has a history of stealing assets from other countries, and they have a history of stealing from its citizens, which a lot of people dismiss because they don't know what country they live in. So I'm glad to hear you killed it, the world above. I greatly wish you more on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week as well. Because nothing's going to change over this weekend other than somebody's going to be talking crazy stuff. You know, the one that's always talking the loudest is usually the weakest one, right? Well, we know our president's going to be talking the loudest while they have not saved United States citizens who they left stranded by striking Iran without consideration of American citizens or American hostages by default because they can't leave because no airport's going to allow, well, there should not be getting on a plane leaving out of an airport. Let's just put it that way. In the Middle East, you may be shot down. So therefore, you're getting messages of, we're going to come and help you. No help is coming because they're not bringing any planes in to get your ass either. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you better think about where you can live. And by the way, speaking of that, SSN Nation been telling you for 6 years. Caribbean islands, places that generally don't have, not Haiti though, but the point is, Caribbean islands, someplace close to America that's relatively safe that you can get to in case you can't get on a plane. I told people this before, and now people are finding out because all those people that bought over in Dubai and they thought they were going to be going to Dubai right about now or leaving from Dubai right about now. Yeah, that's exactly right. Now you feel me. Now you're feeling me because now you're like, man, I bought real estate over there. I can't even go over there. We were already ready to roll. Our flights are canceled, and I'm not going in the war zone. How long will this conflict happen? You don't know. But the building that you purchased may not be there the longer this goes. You see how this works, ladies and gentlemen? I give you playbooks, but you don't think at the time, you're like, man, this dude's crazy. Why is he talking like this? I mean, now you see. Now you're understanding all the stuff's happening. Stranded, passport's no good. Just what I said before. Okay, I have to gloat a little. Tay, very happy to see you once again in the house, and welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And she brings a tagline: FICO is a scam. My. Tay, you are 1000% correct. Call it what it is. Of course, it's a scam. Let's start with the basics, shall we? A lot of Americans, because they don't know what country they live in, how many people here know that the zip code you live in matters on your credit score? You know how your applications, when you apply for something, says, yeah, you're not supposed to discriminate against race, creed, color, blah, blah, blah. Well, when you come bring me your application, I don't see any color. You know why I don't see any color? Because I know where the black neighborhoods are because I know Redline or minority neighborhoods or low income neighborhoods. And so I know the zip code. So when your application for employment or credit and comes in and I see a zip code, I don't need to know anything else, but I know I can jack you because I just saw, oh, banker's card. I just saw your zip code. Now I know the odds are you stay in that neighborhood that minorities live in. So therefore, oh, sorry, you can't work here. Or you can work here, but I got to pay you 10% less than others. Or I got to give you credit, but I'm going to give you credit less than others. Or when I come out to your house and I do an appraisal, I appraise your house $100,000 less than across the way in another zip code that's less than a mile away. Oh, yes, Tay. It is a scam. That's one scam way they do it. So, people, you will be shocked. You don't know what country you live in, do you? But the point is, this is what they use is FICO because, again, they can actually manipulate who is able to build wealth easier than others. Now, once again, this is not 100%. This is based on numbers. So if they want to F with a certain segment of people, then they say, hey, you know what? You need a FICO score. You need a credit score. And so you're like, hey, my credit's 775. I don't understand what's going on. How come you're only giving me a $500 credit card? I know. It's wicked out here. It's like devils in disguise, but they're not. Okay. Thank you, Tay. Hey, I love this when people give some info that's actually legitimate, and people are probably looking at this comment on the board and they're like, what does she mean FICO's a scam? Yeah, they get to use things. So when you go get your car and you roll in there and you go, hey, man, what about that 2.5% or 1.5% interest rate? You're calling on the phone. Well, yeah, that's for us if you qualify, special customers. Let me get your address and name. Let me see what it looks like. Let me run that FICO 8. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. You can't. No, sorry, sir. You're gonna have to get a 4.5, 5.5. Okay, I'm sorry. You don't qualify. Yeah. This is one of those things. I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up. Look, all right. First of all, there's a systemic because people don't believe in CRT, right? This is what you study. Once you start studying CRT, such as how were highways originally built in cities, and that's when they redline. They would build the highway a certain way, so it divided minority areas from white areas. And then you can go across the freeway, and you can have the exact same house. And like right now, today in today's numbers, the house on the white side would be $1 million. The house on the black side would be $400,000. They redline the districts so they already know, and they also have different zip codes. Just what I'm giving an example on. This is all real. You guys can actually look it up now because we have social media. Can you imagine without social media, I was telling people this and they would say, what are you talking about? You're lying. This doesn't make sense. Yeah, because you can't actually go check unless you live there or you know somebody or able to do it. Now you can just go look on the internet and Google, does this happen? And you'll be like, yeah. And then some of us have been in real estate and other businesses long enough. And since it's story night, let's give a story. All right. It's story night. The Wire. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream where it's Dow falls, oil rises. Oh, This is the best thing that happens for investors, ladies and gentlemen. And the wire above says, he took advantage today. I giveth and giveth again. Exactly the wires 574. Very happy to see you once again. Shayala's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Hello, sir. Hello, miss. Thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciated. Make sure you guys smash the like button. That's right. Give it a two-piece, in fact. Three-piece, sorry. Two-piece means push it on, push it off. You got to push it back on. Three-piece. All right, Loper in the house once again. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. No Democrats, not with the Rainbow Movement, Eric. Rainbow Movement. Oh, man. Are we talking about Jesse Jackson Rainbow Movement? I think that was him, right? That was him, right? Okay, okay. The guy did some great things for civil rights and hanging with Martin Luther King and marching and doing all that. Man, that he did his job to help black people until again, I don't even know what dude was thinking. I don't even know what he's thinking when he piped up to the mic and he did some call us African Americans. Like I told you guys before, when I heard this, I was like, what did he just do right now? Oh no, he's suspect at this point. For everything he did before then, when he stepped up to the mic and said, call us African, dude, what are you doing right now? Why are you telling me to call myself from somewhere else when I'm from here? No, I need my restitution and I'm an American. What the hell are you talking about right now? Don't be signing any paperwork putting a checkbox calling yourself African American. That means you got the you know who's out here talking about, oh, wait, they're immigrants. They're checking African American. They're not American. Wait, what's happening here? Yeah, that hasn't come yet because, we have constitutional laws which may be reversed one of these days. The 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, it could be reversed. We got somebody in the White House right now that's trying to talk about, I'm just saying. And all of you guys who are signing African American, you're not from here. Be very, very careful. The devils are here. Yeah, be careful on that rainbow movement, man. It was all good until, like I said, he said that. I mean, just be careful out there. By the way, you notice there's no check boxes for Irish American, Italian American. Just asking for minorities. Okay. All right. Now let's get down to business because Tay dropped it off. So I'll give a story. I got a house in Atlanta, Antelope, California, and it was about I don't really remember, but let's just call it 2,900 square feet. And it's in a neighborhood that well, it's a little different. The neighborhood you could build any house that you wanted, but they had roughly 7 or 8 different designs. So basically, um, my house that I lived in, not too many people had it because it was one of the largest homes in the subdivision. So most people bought homes that were smaller. So my house was like one in every 12 to 15 homes in the neighborhood versus one in every 3 or 4. So I live across, I can't remember the street, but I live across the street. So in my subdivision, there's another house that sold for uh, 400 grand, something like this. So his house, this is like 20 years ago. This house sold for 400 grand. So he has open house when he's selling his house. So I go down and look at his house because when the flyer came to my door, it looks similar to mine. So I get down there. The difference is his house was fixed up. All, just what people do now, new flooring, Nice up modern paints. Outside's a different paint job. We didn't live in an HOA, so it's a modern, updated home, and it's gorgeous. Railings were changed, upscaled it a lot. So I'm sitting there like, okay, cool. It's worth a lot more. Cool. It's worth values have went up. So now I'm getting ready to refi the house. All right, because this is those things you hear about. Your house may be worth 220, and now it's worth 450. So now, 7, 8 months later, I say, yeah, I think I'm going to refi my house, take a little bit out, go and put some of that money into, because it was only 2.5, 2.75, somewhere like that. So I was like, oh man, I can get 4.5 arbitrage. We can do all kind of crazy. So I was like, yeah, let me take out some money and do this. I'm not buying toys. I'm not buying liabilities. Go off then, says TC. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Very happy in the house. See you once again. So now, script writer Eric wants all the smoke. Yeah, I don't mind smoke, man. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Once again, script writer Eric wants all the smoke. Hey, man, being a minority in America, when you're an up and coming superstar, you always have smoke because you never know who your enemies are. People that look like me is my enemy, and people that look pale face are enemies. And your government's an enemy. You never know who your enemy is when you're successful, but they come out of the woodwork sooner or later because they're the ones firing arrows in your back and arrows to your chest. But we'll get to that shortly. But anyhow, let's get back to the situation at hand. So the house, I'm getting ready to refi. So I called the appraiser. The appraiser back in the day, they only cost 200, 250 to come out, right? So now a house across the street, same house as mine, goes for 425,000. So it beats the other one. But the other one across the street isn't as nice as the other one at 400. But okay, we're cool. 425, great. So I'm like, cool. All I need is like 375. That's all I want to refi. So no big deal. The appraiser comes to my house because he doesn't know I'm a real estate guy. He comes to my house, leaves, sends me an appraisal. Somehow my house appraises for $350,000 when two exact homes, square footage, one has been fixed up is 400. The other one that wasn't fixed up but across the street, 425. Now, one thing, if it matters, it matters. If it don't, it don't. But between us three properties, my property has a pool in the backyard. For starters, trees, nice trees to block the shade and all that stuff, block the sun out, so we had shade. And remodeled new flooring, tile, like everybody knows and understands now, real tile, not this faux stuff. All right. Um, so I tell the guy, I said, hey man, what are you talking about? Because he came to the house. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about right now? You know, I said, let me just help you out here. I'm in real estate. He goes, I said, hey, that house over there sold for 425. You know what he says? He says, oh, that's in the other subdivision. I said, bullshit. I don't really give a damn where it is. It's a quarter of a mile away. So you can't even use it's over a mile. You can't even use it's over a half a mile. I said, it's less than a quarter mile. And under every stance that you're pretending to try to use, it's within a fourth of a mile. So sorry, chump. Why are you doing this? Well, this is how it turns out. I said, nah, that ain't how it turns out. There's only one reason you can do this. I said, but don't worry, because I'm going to call another appraiser. And after I call another appraiser, and after he gives me my 425 and higher appraisal value, I'm coming to see you. He's like, oh no, man, hold on. You ain't got to be like this. I said, I got to be like this because you're doing this to me. And I know you're doing it to other people that look like me. He's like, oh man, I'll do a reassessment. I said, you ain't doing shit. In fact, I'm calling the bank right now to talk about this because back then they started doing this thing about you can only get approved appraiser that you would send in. That's what they then eventually it went to they only use their own appraisers, but even then. So I said, I'm calling the bank too, man. And since you know that in my subdivision, less than 200 yards away, one house sold for 400. He didn't have a pool either, nor did he have my cool ass stuff in my house, how I fixed mine up. Even though his was better looking than mine, I got to admit, because he did the whole house. I mean, he put in new windows. He put in the ceilings. He did all crazy, crazy. So he deserved that value. But to give me 350 after two more homes my same size without pools, and he's trying to give me 75,000 less than one, 50,000 less than another. I said, nah, man. I ain't, you just don't get to walk off. So I called another appraiser. The other appraiser comes out. He goes, oh man, your house is 440. I didn't need 440, but that's what the second appraiser came out with. Rightfully so. So that thing that Tay's talking about, it works on many different ways. It's not just FICO's a scam. It's when you're trying to sell your house. Because that is where a lot of equity can build up when you live in a nice upscale neighborhood. That's all I can ever tell you. Always. That's the keys. Always stay. Eric wants all the smoke. I get the smoke, man. Okay, if we have a lot of new people here. Let me just put things in perspective and straight for you. All right. The state of California, because I was doing some other things that was making money and delving into the automobile industry, because I told you guys I always had this thing when I was much younger. Whatever the white guys are doing, I want in. Stock market trading fits that bill. Real estate fits that bill. Travel agencies fit that bill. Private jets and planes, I never got into. Winery, I owner of a winery. So I had to get in that, right? Just saying. Wherever they are, they make the money. I'm going to be in it too. They didn't like that. They're going, wait a minute. This guy has 8 pieces of property in gated communities and he's only 20 something. You know he's black, right? There's no way. How's this happen? Oh, damn, there's a loophole in our system. And I don't even know if you want to call it a loophole. It wasn't a loophole. It's just basically you could assume loans. So they're like, oh, okay, we're shutting this down. They're not going to be able to do this no more. So yeah, the federal government had to switch up on their assumption of loan scenario. Then the automobile industry, I was doing flipping loans, but it's not really a loan. A person has a car, they have a loan. This is illegal, by the way, what I'm about to tell you. A person has a car and they can't make a payment. Back in the 80s, that was serious. That was, if you've got a default on your vehicle, you can't run down to another dealership and get a car. You can go see Cal or go see some of these guys that's going to charge you a 25% interest rate for some used or 2-year-old car or 1-year-old car. Sure, you can go to see them. But having a loan for 2.5 or 2%, you can forget that after you have a repossession. So it was very serious if you had repossession. So what people would do is, as I'm walking upstairs to my apartment one day, and this guy comes up to me and he says, Eric, man, I need some help. And I'm like, what's up? He's like, I might have my car repossessed. I can't pay for it. And I know you got like 2 cars already, but would you want to buy my car by taking over the payments on my car? I'm like, nah, man, you just said it. I got 2 cars already. I'm not going to need 3. So, no. So now, as I get upstairs, I put my key in my lock All of a sudden, my brain goes, what if other people need this type of help? I'm like, wait a minute, I can start a business. Can't make your car payments? Need help? Give me a call. You have bad credit? Can't get a car? Need help? Give me a call. The car already has a loan on it. The person that can't make their car payment comes to my office and I say, hey, I'll find somebody to take over payments. I put those exact ads that you just heard me say, quarter page ad in the Auto Trader magazine. Let's test this out. Next thing you know, it comes out whenever, whether if it was on a Wednesday, let's say the Auto Trader comes out on a Wednesday, my phone starts ringing off the hook. Ring, ring, ring. I'm like, oh, I'm answering on both sides of the fence. I'm like realizing business is activated. So now the people that were taking over payments, they would have to put down $1,000 or more, depending on how low end. So let's say it's a Hyundai, they put down $1,000. Let's say if it was a vet or Marquis has a Mercedes or BMW, well, okay, you got to put down 1,500, 2,500 or more down payment. My company would, if the person defaulted on their payment, because I'd always make their payments 2 weeks in advance to the other party to make sure. Because remember, the loan is still under the other person's name. The other person would already have to sign a title. So none of this reneging because they're signing over a title already signed. So if they take people's money, they make payments, guess what happens? They can't take it back. So everybody's protected. The state of California, all of a sudden, we're about a year, 2 years in. Yeah, living life large. On the automobile industry started noticing they weren't repossessing cars like they used to. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Automobile industry actually counts on repossessing cars. That's another vehicle for making tons of money. I didn't know this though at the time. I was just a young gun out here doing damage. But they were like sending people to my office, which one occasion, guys drive in my parking lot area with the VW bug. Like the odds of somebody coming in with the VW bug is weird. Second part was dudes looking like bikers get out. Cut off sleeves, tattoos, kind of big guys, little buff. And but I don't really pay no attention. I just thought it was odd because they didn't look like any customer that would be dropping off a VW if for late payments. They were cheap. And it didn't look like customers that would be looking for a car either, or a truck or whatever. So now they come to my office. We sit there and talk for a second. Hey, man, yeah, you got some cars, this, that, and the other. Then all of a sudden it changes to a different tone. Both of these big white dudes are sitting there across from me and they say, hey, Chrysler told me or told us to come here and tell you to stop doing what you're doing. I was like, are you serious right now? What are you talking about? I said, you mean Chrysler Car Company? They're like, yeah. I said, okay, you're joking. They say, no, we're not joking. In fact, and then now they start, because they're kind of biggish, and they get up and start this. Well, it's serious. They want you to shut down your business and all this garbage, right? I said, okay, man, I don't know who you talking to. You don't know what the hell's going on. And they start going, well, and they start moving closer to my desk. I said, you guys might want to chill out for a second because you need to get the F out of my office now. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Not really bad. Just get out my office now. Whoa, 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 dude, it's all good. I said, dudes, it was always all good when you showed up. Now you better get the hell out my office. And if I ever see you again, It's like they said, I'm gonna put a cap in your ass. So that's how it goes down in my world. But you guys don't know the half of it. Some of you do, some of you don't. But you newbies, let me give you something else. So now, after that occurs, you know what happens next? In your wildest dreams, being in your 20s, and somebody starts, you don't know where you live. I didn't know where we lived. The car companies paid the state of California senators to pass a law so you can't do what I was doing. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That is right. They bribed senators of the state of California to pass a law to make it unlawful subleasing of a motor vehicle. So that wouldn't have hurt anything because the vehicle subleasing is amongst two people. So that was like, okay, no biggie. That's not going to stop anything because people can let anybody make payments to them for their vehicle. So the next thing they did, which will stop it, you can't insure someone else's vehicle. That's where they got it. They go, okay, we know he's going to use that loophole easily. So they said, you can't insure somebody else's car. As soon as you did that, that means even if you take over payments, you're not the registered owner, you can't insure that person's vehicle. Now, here's what the reason why they did this. Because I was in Oakland, California. I'm in Sacramento. I'm in Oakland, California, setting up a dealership to do the same thing. I'm in Reno, Nevada, doing the same thing. I'm in New Mexico, getting ready to set up another one. These dudes were like, this mother is expanding. We better contain this right now in Cali because he's setting up office. He's setting up shop across the West. Do you guys understand? At the time, I didn't know I was in their repossession business. They know how much, they make so much money from repossession. So I didn't realize this. So I was cutting off millions of dollars of their money. It turns out to be billions. But I didn't know this back then. But I did find out about them bribing the senators for the state of California to change the law. That's when my eyes were like, oh, what the? America is like a third world country? Are you serious right now? I thought this was all about competition. I thought this was all about capitalism. He who does the coolest business comes up with innovation wins. They're like, oh, who told you innovation and all this stuff? Who told you capitalism's going to be fair? In fact, who told you that we ain't going to be paying the government or state government to make sure we clear the aisles so we can win? That's when I learned. You don't know where you live right then and there, ladies and gentlemen. Market is about to crash, says Judah Barak. Judah Barak, it's not about to crash. It's going to do exactly what it should be doing. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Remember, the top 10% of the wealthiest own 93% of the stock market. You don't think they're going to lose, do you? They're preparing themselves so they can switch to where, when it goes down, they make money. Right now, they're not prepared for it to drop drastically like it's supposed to, just like the housing market. They are sitting there trying to keep it afloat. Up and down is good because they make money up and down like you should be doing, like we all should be doing right now. So therefore, until they can't, until they printed enough money, but you know what? You keep doing this war stuff. Oh, this short circuits the whole thing because this $1 billion a day, you got problems, ladies and gentlemen. You got problems. All right. A broke country, $1 billion a day, got problems. And now the banks are not liquid. That's where this all comes to play. The banks aren't going to be liquid. The Federal Reserve is going to have to print more money out of thin air. Inflation is going to continue to skyrocket until people can't pay no more, which they've already there. 80% of the population is already there. So now your corporations aren't going to be liquid because there's going to be less customers buying, and there's a Downhill slide. You live in a third world country, but you don't know it yet. All right. So you're right. It's just not yet. Just so you know, the world above, money. Exactly. Joshua Tree, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Very happy to see you once again. Yeah, I shorted NASDAQ today. Good man, Joshua Tree. This is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. You see right now, this is why I've been telling people volatility is coming. It's here. You have to take advantage. And here's the beauty of it. Joshua Tree, just like others who made money today, sat there and said, I made money today when it went down. Shorted means they're shorting the market, meaning to go down. The fact of the matter is, sometime, whether it's Monday or Tuesday, the stock market, due to information out there, will say, oh, things aren't so bad. This is good news right here. The stock price will go up. He's going to be able to make money on the way up and on the way down. That's why you have to get in the game. And that's why I put the Candlestick Trading Bible out there. And I give you the CoinX just in case you want to stay outside the United States jurisdiction. Very well done. Very happy to hear. And there it is on the screen. Go get that download, get the CoinX. And then that way you'll already be in play. If you don't know right now, at least if you take 5, 6, 7 months, you got to start learning now. That is the whole thing. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, to the moral to the story, when she says FICA is a scam, that's the whole reason they try to make sure that they win, and they'll do anything necessary. All right. Terry O'Veal, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream, and he says, "Man, I hate the weekends. Trading is so fun. Hey, Sundays comes just one day, man. One day, unless you got a broker that does Bitcoin, then you can trade 7 days a week. Just saying. Just saying. But you can wait till Sunday afternoon, right? And get right back in it because you know Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening is going to be volatile on other exchanges, the Asian markets, the UK, EU markets. It's going to be one hell of a ride, whether it's runs up or runs down. But there's going to be this. And over the next 24 to 48 hours, there's going to be talk of all kind of things. The war has just started, ladies and gentlemen. I love this when a plan comes together. All right, let's go. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And the tagline for David Jackson is Peace, Mr. E. Thank you so much. So, yeah, you guys, when you say smoke, I've been tangling with the state of California. I've tangled with the IRS personally. I don't hire somebody to do it, I do it. Oh, yeah, that helps when you have skill sets such as accounting and things of this nature. You know, you ain't scared of the IRS, right? Okay, just saying, you guys, I don't want everybody to think that it's like a simple thing to do. You better have some. Speaking of that, let's just go to another. All right, because we have a lot of new people here. First of all, when if you know how to do your taxes, you should learn tax. You should learn tax as best you can. Um, if you don't, you have to hire somebody. But I'm going to tell you, if you do business, you need to leave a little poison pill, is what I call it. So let's just say I got to pay taxes, and I know that I didn't take all of my expenses. Um, I leave a few out because I don't mind. What's the difference between me paying uh, uh, 10 grand in taxes versus 7,500? For me, it's no big deal. The reason why is the same reason that I don't want my money in banks and places that the federal government can take it, safe deposit boxes and things like this, is because of my same philosophy works the other way around. I know I'm going to be audited by the IRS. Okay. So now when the IRS audits me, I have a poison pill, is what I call it, meaning I know I'm supposed to get this amount of money reduced or returned to me. So when I get audited, and I already keep all my paperwork because of what happened to me with the car situation. From that point on, every piece of paperwork, yes, my warehouse is full. 45, 50-year old paperwork. Okay. Hard copies. Because it's hard to prove something when somebody comes later and says, oh, 10 years ago. Oh, 15 years ago. We can go back that far because we're in a court of law. Yeah, okay. Not any get once you learn how this all goes down, these statutes of limitations may or may not work. So I keep every piece of paperwork because other things happened as well with the federal government. So we'll get into that another day. But the fact of the matter is, because of that, paperwork is kept because banks went out of business before. And before we didn't have electronics. And so there was no way to retrieve it. So now that you could not retrieve it, now they use that like, oh, well, you don't have the info, so we can say whatever it was. I was like, okay, you got me, but not no more. Ain't gonna work. But anyhow, back to the situation. Get audited. Now all of a sudden you can say, oh yeah, I didn't take off all these deductions here. So the IRS gets scared when they call you up, or shall I say, you call them up because you have a letter and you're calling them up. Hey, I just got a letter today. What's happening? They said I need to come in for an audit. And then of course most people won't be, they'll be like, when can I come in? Most people don't want to see the IRS. Me, I want smoke. So the lady calls, I call the IRS office in Sacramento and I say, hey, what's this thing about this audit? Yeah, we don't approve of some of these expense things you did and yada, yada, yada. I said, really? Yeah, do you think you can come into our office? And we can have an appointment like 2 months from now, a month from now, whenever you want to get ready. My response was, how about tomorrow? She's like, what do you mean? You mean tomorrow you want to come in? I said, oh yeah. Tomorrow, that's good. What time? She gives me a time. She says, this is a first. I said, I know. I'll see you tomorrow at 1:45. Click. I get down to the IRS office. The agent comes downstairs to get me. I goes upstairs. Now, I got my briefcase. I got my goods. And she's like, I get up there, we get upstairs to the office and she goes, well, you see, you took too much of this expense or whatever. And I said, actually, um, the IRS code says that I can use that. I mean, do you need to bring in your supervisor or something? You can break out your book. You want me to I'll break it out for you. So, but after that's handled, I just want to let you know there's a poison pill in here because now that I'm being audited 5 years after the fact, um, yeah, I can actually alter it now. And see, now that you're here messing with me, I can alter this. So now you need to send me about 8 Gs. She's like, nah, no, I'm sorry. I don't know anything about that. I said, see, that's the problem right there. You guys called me up here saying that you weren't going to allow these deductions, but now you done opened up my tax forms. And now they're going to be altered. Sorry, you're going to owe me like 8 to 10 Gs. She's like, nah, I don't think so, Mr. Bird. I said, yeah, I know so. And I said, actually, I have my Mic check, mic check. We're back. Thank you, man. I didn't even see that. I could have been out for sound for a long, long time. Um, I'm in EV Mux, and you know what? They don't. It doesn't scroll for me. Unlike StreamYard, I'd be able to see it on here until I get down to it. I don't see it, so it could have been on this for a while. Thank you so much, man. I could have been on this. Let me see how long. An hour? Yikes. That's not good. Not good at all. Dang. That's not good at all. That's no sound, no sound, no sound. Sound is off. Dang. I've been buying up. Dang, the dollar dropped too. God, dog. Yeah, well, that's expected. Get busy, Drizzy. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. I've been buying up USO. USO. I love it. Good money. Exactly. USOI. Excellent. United States Oil, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know. All right. There's USO, USOI. That's a symbols that you can get into. Great job, man. Very wise after the first blowout. It made perfectly good sense because neither side's going to agree to any ceasefiring at this point, really. I mean, Iran's just going to ultimately give in, but they're going to inflict damage under the color of law. So the of the under the color of war, just so the region knows, don't think that we're not who we are too. We'll take the rogue nation because that's what we're going to act like, right? We're going to attack other countries as friends with the U.S. that you allow to have military bases on. Judah Barak, the dollar dropped too, exactly. Have you studied on what the VIX does for the stock market? Yeah. Um, when the stock market drops, VIX goes up. When the stock market goes up, VIX goes down. That's why VIX is very dangerous. In a situation where 2007, 8, 9 happened, where you have a drop, if you're in VIX, that's where it's temporary. It's short. It's not really sustainable over a long term. But on the day that you have drops, a 4 to 5 to 6% price increase, that's the day you can make money. You can sell at the end of the day or before then. If you think 5% for the day is good, which it is, if it's 3% is your number or 2%, whatever your number is, I don't believe you should carry the VIX overnight if you're doing swing trading or anything like that. It's volatile, especially when you have 2x leverage, 2-3x leverage. Um, it can, yeah, you can make a lot of money when the stock market's poised to go down, and so right now is when you can make a lot of money. So thank you for asking, Gary Wall. Stock market goes up, VIX goes down. So UVXY, for instance, I'll just use that, right? UVXY, it goes, okay. In fact, let me go look at this. UVXY stock. Let's see what happened today. Today, 20.87%. And this is the Pro Shares VIX short term futures ETF. It went up 20%, 20.87% just today. A lot of people would like to earn 20% annually. And the 2X long VIX futures ETF went up 27.62% today. These are all Pro Shares. Okay, so just so you understand, 52-week low is $9.66. The 52-week high is $68, and the current price for UVXY is $54. 5 days, and it's almost near the same. In the last 5 days, it's 25.47%. It's increased $11. Now, it can continue to go this route, but it's high risk. And the 2X went up 27 when they're using some leverage, which is scary. In 5 days, Let's see what it says. It looks like 27.62. Is this a new one or something? I don't think so, because it's 105 is a 52-week high. So, 33.81% this week. Congratulations. See, this is what happens. And you have to pay attention, because if it goes reverse, it goes down just as fast. You could lose like 30% if the stock market all of a sudden roared back 600 points on the Dow, for instance. And all of a sudden it did like 3 or 400 points on either S&P 500 or NASDAQ. All of a sudden, or 600 points, all of a sudden, you could easily lose 25, 30% that day. So that's why you have to be very diligent if you're going to use these VIX stocks. But thank you for mentioning that. All right. The dollar dropped too. That's interesting. US dollar. It should. It should drop every day, quite frankly. Are we talking about the index? Let's go see. Let's go see. You're talking about, yep, you're talking about the index. Uh, uh, it's not, if this is what it is, I'm looking at Yahoo. Is this the dollar index? But by the way, let me, we got to talk about something else too. But I was talking about the take profit trader here for a second. Also, guys, ladies and gentlemen, let me say something. I haven't talked about Bankers tonight. Get the Bankers card. I'm going to give you guys the app that you can go check out. Okay. Now hold on a second. I messed up big time, didn't I? I sure did. And we're going to go over to Prime Wealth Advisors here shortly. That 8%. Make sure you download Prime Wealth Advisors, and make sure you download, where's the other one? Bankers. This is a MasterCard debit card, which actually you load it with crypto. That's how you load it. And it does not have a name on it. So it's a true like black card. So whoever has this card can withdraw, but they need to know your PIN for the ATM. So they can't go to the bank and get a cash advance because your name's not on here. All right, unless you know the banker, obviously. You can, you have your special banker and he lets you in the back or whatever. They'll do a special deal for you. Some of you are them. Okay, so you'd be like, I'd be able to use mine, and there's others that would be able to use theirs. So, but for the traditional banking, they're going to be like, your name's not on here anywhere. We can't do a cash advance. All right. So, Bankers, here, the ecosystem I have is I use CoinX because it's a broker, not regulated by the United States. You upload your crypto. Yes, I use a SEX to upload the crypto. That's trackable. But now when I withdraw, I'm sending it outside the United States to my banker's account because they accept crypto. And then I can use it at an ATM, at a store inside America and anywhere in the world because it has a MasterCard logo. Yes, you can make money by referring people, but I just want you guys to download the app because they're switching from Visa to MasterCard. So they've had a maintenance situation for the softwares, linking up all the cards and doing all this crazy. So I just want you to download, and we'll talk about on Monday if the maintenance is, you know what? Let me just check right now. The maintenance probably is not over, but I'll check. So then you order the card, right? $35 for a plastic card, $85 for a metal card. Let me see if anything's happened. I don't think well, I don't think it has, but we'll see. Where's my, okay, what's happening? Oh, there it is. Okay. Jeez. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. My mouth's wet. My lips are dry. Mm. Okay. Let's go. All right. Authorization failed. What the heck? Oh, yeah. I have a situation. Yeah, still under. So use my link to download the app. If you have Apple, there's a certain way to do it. And the dollar dropping, UXDY, yeah, it's 98.86 right now. Is the DXY. All right. That's today. So yeah, we're losing buying power on that front as well. And of course our dollar had for the dollar. That too. All right. I've been buying up the USO. That's awesome. Sounds off. It's been off for a while. Damn. Bruh. No sound. Yeah, man. Look at all that. Sorry, guys. I saw a drop in viewership. I should have known something was wrong. You guys couldn't hear me for like an hour then. Damn, I'm going off talking stuff. Funny how my stuff turns off in certain times. Johnny Blue was here, DJ Blend, when others fearful, buy it up. Exactly. That's what we're supposed to do, man. That's exactly what we're supposed to do. All right. There's the Bankus stuff. If you guys are still with me and see this in replay, because I'm gonna have to cut out this whole section that was muted. So people that watch it afterwards, hopefully you get some of this. All right. I'm gonna wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. I'm almost done. Hold on. We got to do prime wealth advisors, right? I'm going to put a link in the chat room. I'm going to go to the Prime Wealth Advisor here. Download, use that to download, even though you don't want to open it up because I uploaded money last week for $108 is what I put in the Prime Advisors account. I don't know when they're going to give the interest. All right. It's supposed to be 8%. So that should be uh, $9, something like that, I believe. Yeah, I think that's it, right? It should be $9. Should be in my account. If it's not to, well, like I said, I uploaded Friday evening, last Friday evening, late night after the live stream. And so I don't know if it's going to show anything in my account. We'll see. I'll let you. We'll do it right now. I'll show you guys right now the back office. Okay. So let me get in here and then I'll just to make sure in case they change something. And we'll see if they added anything or anything changed. It just said 108 this week. So, oh wow. Okay, you're gonna verify. Jeez, what is this? Wow. Okay, they're doing these. This is crazy. They're doing this captcha stuff. What's going on? Please complete the captcha verification. Are we serious with this? The, oh man, this I don't. I'm not a fan. Not a fan, especially when it doesn't work. All right. Well, again, I'm sorry, you guys. Well, people who left because I was on. I didn't have any volume. Okay, it still says 108, so nothing's happened. There's nothing that's happened. Accumulated interest 0, total withdrawals 0, total deposits 108, account balance 0. Uh, uh, okay. Well, that's not working. Interest. Do we have interest happening here? Your daily earnings are accumulated here. Daily? Oh, well, then I'm not getting daily nothing. Um, well, that's a bummer. So, anyhow, download the link and don't deposit or don't do anything because I just realized in the interest section it says your daily earnings are accumulated here. You can keep track of your earnings and rewards. There's there's nothing here. Active plans. Infinite Wealth is the 8%. Been active since February 28th at 8:42 a.m. So what was last Friday? Saturday is February 28th, 8:42 a.m. So are we saying the 7th tomorrow at 8:42 a.m. I should see some, but this says I should be getting interest daily. Okay, no interest daily. Well, that's a bummer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to wrap this up. What a bummer. I thought I was going to, now that I know that I should be receiving interest daily, I guess I should find out what's going on. Right? That's a bummer. But anyhow, use the link. I'm going to put it down here in the chat room. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right. And this is potentially another way. The Bankers card is one thing. And the Prime Wealth, once again, just download the app. I'll get into it once I get interest started because I don't know why my interest hasn't started. It says I should have something there daily. So that's a bummer. So I want to thank everybody for being here. And once again, I got to figure out why my voice box goes out every now and then, especially when I start talking about if you guys haven't been here in a while, we always have problems when I talk about certain things, government, especially there's certain things. So this is not new, but unfortunately, it looks like I was no sound on for a long time. It could have been an hour for all I know. So again, for all you who are here and suffered through sending me a message because it doesn't scroll up, it doesn't auto scroll, which that makes me think from now on, I think I'm going to do something different. I think I better monitor my own live stream to make sure I can hear, or have to wear some earplugs since I'm not at home. So that's bad. But either way, I got to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank everybody for being here. We're not going to talk about Take Profit Trader at this moment. All right. So unfortunately, we'll have to talk about it on another day on the live stream. It'll probably be on Monday. But please use the links in the chat room to download. And I'll see you guys on Monday at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if I'm not in jail after going off tomorrow at the hospital. All right. Okay. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And if you have anything that you want to talk about before we go, then let it be known right now in the chat room. But make sure you guys take advantage of the Dow falling, of the S&P 500 falling, the NASDAQ falling. Learn how to trade or something that has to do with the stock market. That's what you should be doing. You have to learn how to make money from the stock market in a short term and over a long term. But it's going to be a bumpy ride short term, quite frankly. So you're going to have to free up some funds that you can afford to put into the market, even if it's $10, even if it's $25, even if it's $2,500, even if it's $10,000, even if it's $20,000, whatever you feel comfortable with that you can invest in. And I shouldn't leave without saying that I love you guys very much. And I appreciate your support over all these years. But there's something else I didn't talk about tonight. And that was the real estate investment trust, because I want to see what happened with the real estate investment trust at this point. It went down 1.62 ORC. By being $7.28, it's 19.78% dividend. I like that. I like that. This week it went down 0.55. So you're still at 19.78%. 1 month, we're down 4%. Interesting. It went from $7.60 some cents to $7.28. But the dividend is issued once a month. I don't like that number. But over the last 6 months, you're up 0.83. So long as we're positive, then we love nearly 20% at 19.78%. So this is very interesting because AGNC dropped as well 2.39% because their investment corp declines more than market. Some information for investors, high risk, high rewards. But again, that's 13.53. And then you go check out ARR. Let me go look at ARR, see what they're at, because they're going to be at 19% too. These are high risk, high rewards. If you want to stay around 15, 13.8, 13.5% to 20%, high risk, high rewards. ARR is, it's not at 19 anymore. It's at 16. It must have went up, so therefore it had to drop. But let's see what it looks like last 5 days. It looks like, what's happening? It looks like, 0.34. So it's not all bad. Today it dropped. And over the last 1 month is 0.11. So it's basically level, but you're getting 16.26 right now for ARR, which is RMR, Residential Real Estate Investment Trust. Again, high risk, high rewards, monthly dividend payout. Sometimes they have special dividends. All right. Hopefully that helps everybody out. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you guys on Monday at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, barring anything going on with medical care. So with all that said, no matter what happens out here, make sure that you keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm